accelerating your climb, having raised your confidence, it is just as essential to catch the drop, to catch it earlier and to have it start the climb back up. Because if you can figure out how, and we're going to teach you by the way, if you can figure out how to catch the drop, that safety net, the actions to take when you notice the drop and start climbing back up again, your overall confidence level will be that much higher. Okay, so first let's talk about how to accelerate and maintain climbs up. Well, some of this we've already talked about. So tracking your wins, a wins journal, and reminding yourself often. So the wins journal by now should be a daily procedure, something that you add to. You don't need to add to it daily, but at least occasionally, but you need to review it at least daily. And if you're not doing that, add that in right away. Put it in your schedule, make time for it, put it as part of your daily routine. Tape it to your bathroom wall or to the mirror as you brush your teeth. Go over your wins journal. That one thing will have your confidence be higher. And then when you're celebrating your wins, you're going to celebrate all of your wins. So when you get a big win, when you get the next big win, add it to that wins journal. Celebrate it with yourself, but also celebrate it with others. The more people that are patting you on the back, that are celebrating your wins with you, it reinforces that win and raises your confidence even more. It also creates the expectation from the other people that you're going to keep winning, which drives you and motivates you as well. The next piece is internalize the source of your wins. So let's say you have a great win, and you have let's say you do a sale with a great client and you get a whole bunch of, bonus, whatever. Okay? If you're very thankful that you were fortunate enough to find a great client, it's not as big as a win as if you look at what you developed to be a better salesperson. By internalizing the win, by seeing yourself as the source of the win, by seeing your growth and your competence as the source of the win, it's going to raise your confidence at a higher level than if you see some external factor as the source of your win. So always keep looking at your wins and looking what it is that you did. What's the internal reason why you had that win? And that's what should go on your wins journal. And then next, appreciate your growth over time. So notice the wins journal growing. Notice the size of the wins getting bigger over time. What that'll do is you'll be able to see your overall level, your overall average confidence rising, your ability to manage and keep your confidence high growing. You'll see yourself as a better man. You'll see yourself as closer to the man you've always wanted to be. Now, one other key aspect of celebrating your wins is altering who you compare yourself to. Now, what that means is if you're able to look at what your wins are and you're surrounding yourself by people who just raised their income by $1,000 and you only raise your income by $100, well, you're not going to celebrate that win too much. You're actually probably going to see that as a loss. And the reason you're going to see that as a loss is because of who you're comparing yourself to. You choose who you compare yourself to. So if you choose to compare yourself to somebody who just raised their income by $1,000, then you see that as a loss. You only raised by 100, they raised by 1,000. If you compare yourself to somebody who raised their income by $10 or saw no raise or had a loss of income, well, then you see a win. And the bottom line, in reality, the raise is a win. So intentionally looking at your comparisons, intentionally looking at who you compare yourself to, and noticing those comparisons will make the wins bigger. Let me just add to that a bit, because all of you are in this situation of repairing your marriage. If you're comparing yourself to the surface of what you see in relationships out there, right? Oh, my mom and dad never fight. Oh, my buddy Jim and his wife seem to have a great relationship, right? If you're comparing yourself to the surface when they're not really revealing themselves, then you're not seeing the whole picture. You're seeing that good face that they want to put forward. Oh, everything's fine here. And they're fighting behind the scenes, but you're never seeing the fight. So now you're comparing your and your wife's relationship, and you're not written, and you're comparing the full picture you see with the half picture you see about other people. One of the advantages of being in this group is you get to see other men who are actually revealing all of what's going on for them. And when you reveal all of what's going on for you, you're providing a service to those other men as well. So make sure you're comparing yourself to real people, not the fronts that they put forward. And lastly, about accelerating and maintaining the climb, is the definition of who you are. Well, I'm the kind of guy who always keeps my word. Well, I'm kind of a lazy guy. How you define yourself is your choice. Most people just take what they get, right? They take it as a result of bullets. You know, their dad called them lazy when they were 7 years old, and they've held on to that label for all their life. So now, when you're looking at yourself, I'm kind of a lazy guy. Well, it's just a bullet. So when you define who you are, right? When you say, you know, I'm a go-getter, I'm a man who always keeps my word, I'm somebody who's responsible, I'm somebody who is, you know, in the fight. When you define yourself as who you are, it's easier to stay true to that. It's easier to be consistent with that and to keep that confidence high because you know yourself as that. Those are the characteristics of you because you've defined them. And the bottom line is, most people just use their past to try to define it. But your past really doesn't say. You could be, you know, a lazy loiterer one day, then a lazy loiterer the next day, and a lazy loiterer the next day. But the next day, you could be motivated and in action. What happened in the last 3 days means nothing about what's going to happen today because you have full control. So when you define yourself as that motivated star, when you define yourself as that kick-ass man, what you're doing is you're creating that confidence that goes with it, the confidence that has you take that action. Okay, let's shift gears here and talk a little bit about how to catch the drop. Remember, it's as important to notice and catch the drop as it is to accelerate and maintain the climb. So first we're going to talk about preventing the drop. So when your confidence is high and things are going well, right, you want to raise your awareness of your confidence. The biggest problem most people face is they never notice the fall. Their confidence is going up and then their confidence is going down and they're not even paying attention until something really bad happens. So be more mindful of it and you'll start to notice it, and then you could take action when you notice it. Next, schedule the wins in your calendar. We talked about this earlier. Actually put structure in place to, you know, put it in your calendar, remind you of it. Remind you of it every day, remind you of it 3 times a day, build it into your daily routines. The next thing that'll help you catch, you know, when you're dropping, you'll notice it more often, is if the results that you create in your life are measurable. A lot of people don't do this because they don't want to face the reality of winning or losing. When you have measurable results, you're always specifically winning or losing at those results. So create measurable results and then measure yourself against those measurable results. And then for each achieved result, celebrate. That will boost your confidence. If you don't notice it, you don't get to celebrate it. Next, for each loss, make sure you actively pull the bullet of the loss. Every single loss hurts. So when you notice the loss, pull the bullet and then try to get a lesson from that loss to make it more reliable that you'll get a win next time. So when you measure the results, it gives you the opportunity to do those things, to celebrate the wins or to pull the bullets and get a lesson from the losses. If you don't notice the results because they're not measurable or because you actually haven't created results that you want to achieve, then you're not going to have the opportunity to manage that confidence that comes with it. And lastly, schedule a confidence check-in every once in a while. Maybe it's a check-in with a buddy who, you talk to for a while and he tells you, hey, is your confidence high, your confidence is low. Or it's just something that you just do in the mirror. Hey, how am I doing? Am I winning or losing in life? Am I on this track? Am I not on track? Right? Am I like being sad sack? Or am I, being the kick-ass man? Make sure that you're present to it, make sure you're aware of it, and keep it on top of mind. Okay. So now what to do when you're aware and you notice you're falling. That spiral down is happening. So how to stop the drop. This is a checklist. Okay? So how to stop the drop. First step, stop whatever you're doing. When your confidence is low, the next action you take will probably make your confidence lower. So, you just get really, down and upset and you're about to take the next action, stop whatever you're doing, right? If you need to exit a situation because you're with other people, exit. Go to the washroom, right? Let them know you have to make a phone call. Get out of the situation, okay? Because the first thing you need to do is pay attention to your confidence, okay? So once you get out of that situation, ground yourself. Breathe, exhale, right? You're likely in a threatening situation, so just ground yourself and get back to being present. And then next, do something physical. When your confidence is low, the easiest and quickest thing you can do to raise your confidence level is get the endorphins flowing. Just do something physical. Even in the washroom, pound out 10 push-ups, right? Or, do a couple jumping jacks or whatever, right? Do something physical. Get the body in motion is going to raise your confidence level. It's going to raise, your awareness. All of it is going to start working better just by doing something physical. Next, look at what caused the drop. So what the likely source that knocked you off your confidence spiral up was something bad happened. Well, in reality, something happened. It wasn't that something bad happened. It was just that something happened. And then you interpreted that what happened was bad, right? You saw your wife message to her, boyfriend about how she wanted to jump on him. Well, it sounds bad, but in reality, it's just what's so. It's just what's going on. Okay? And if you treat that as a disaster, it's going to sink your confidence low. But if you treat it as I've just gathered intelligence, I've just found something out. I know where I'm at, and I can now work on where I need to get to. Then it's good news. So how you interpret what happened, right? Your wife tells you you're an asshole, right? If you take that personally, interpret it as negative, as a horrible thing, oh, she hates me, then your confidence is going to start down. If you reinterpret that as, oh, my wife's paying attention to me. My wife's giving me attention and talking to me. My wife's letting out her venom. If you change the interpretation, right, to one of those things which are actually positive, she's letting out all that pain, right? She's in communication with me. She's being feminine. If you reinterpret what happened, then it doesn't sting as much. It doesn't hurt as much. It's not going to continue the spiral down. So step 4, reinterpret the source of the drop. Step 5, redeclare your context. The only reason you got knocked off the horse in the first place is because you weren't aware of the context, right? The context may have been, I'm in hostile territory. Well, if you're aware of the context and your wife shoots at you, it doesn't hurt. You're aware of it. You're dodging bullets. It's great. It's when you've forgotten the context that it hurts and you take it personally. So after you've reinterpreted, redeclare your context, whatever that context is for you. I'm being tested, I'm rebuilding, whatever that context is for you, redeclare it so that you're present to it, about to go back in. And then first thing to do after you've stopped the drop is get a quick win, easy win. Okay? Don't go back into the situation that's causing you challenge. Don't go back into the big, deep, thick of it. Get a quick, easy win. Right? On the way back from the washroom to talking to your wife, smile at the waitress, get a smile back. I don't know what that looks like, right? Get a quick, call somebody who boosts you up and get a quick, easy win, right? Or just do something quick on your integrity list, checklist, and get it handled. Something to get a quick, easy win so that you start that little spiral up. And then once you start that little spiral up, get all the way back in the game. And the spiral starts going back up again. So that's how to stop the drop. First, you got to notice the drop, then you got to take the actions. Go through that checklist of intentionally stopping and changing directions, changing from spiraling down to spiraling up. Becomes very intentional, becomes very controlled, and you are in the driver's seat of your own confidence. All right, quick summary. So keep managing your confidence as a priority. This is something, we could have this video every single week. Confidence is that important in the marriage rebuilding process, in every stage along the process. Take intentional steps to raise your confidence. Go watch this video a few times, look what those steps are, make sure they're in your life, and then take intentional, whatever confidence they have. They relate to confidence as a feeling like happiness or sadness, and they don't take the actual actions to intentionally boost your confidence up. Well, it's critical for, if you're going to be the man you always wanted to be, that you've got structures in place, actual things in your calendar, actual things which you do on a regular basis to be responsible for your confidence, to boost it up and to catch it when it's falling down. The way confidence works is it's always spiraling up or down. And you've seen this. You've noticed, you could be having a great day, and then all of a sudden, disaster strikes, something really bad happens, and then there you are dealing with the emotions of what happened, and all that time you're not doing something else. So that not doing something else, it just adds to the drop. So you start spiraling down, right? You start to beat yourself up over not doing that first thing. Then, while you're beating yourself up, your confidence even drops more. So, and down and down and down it goes. You go from failure to failure to failure to failure. It just keeps getting lower and lower because you're reacting to not only to the first failure, but all the failures along the way. And then you see yourself in this slump. And even just seeing yourself in a slump has your confidence go lower. So it spirals down that way. Well, it spirals up the same way. You have a little win, and that confidence boost that you get from the little win, you use to take a little bit more of a risk so that you get another big win, or a sort of slightly bigger win. And then that boost has you take a little bit more confidence, a little bit more risk, and you have another win. Those wins keep spiraling up as well. So the bigger and bigger risks you take, because your confidence keeps getting bigger and bigger as you go up the spiral. Imagine it's like a spiral staircase. You step up 5 steps, then you step down 3 steps, then you step up 7 steps, then you step down 9 steps. And you're constantly going up and down this staircase. So you'll never find yourself with confidence standing still. Because if you're at the same confidence level for a little while, then you're not taking risks. And that is enough to have your confidence go down. So you get this confidence-competence loop happening. As you develop more confidence, you take more risks. As you take more risks and succeed, You develop new competence in that area. You become more capable of doing things in that area. Your experience having done it gives you more confidence. So that loop keeps going up, and that loop, the more failures you have in that area, loops down. And there will always be ups and downs. So you'll never stand still. You'll always be going up and you'll always be going down. And most people measure their confidence over time based on the average of those ups and downs. But when you intentionally manage it, you can manage that up process to get to even a higher level and maintain the higher level for longer periods. That's the in the zone that we're always looking for, being in that high place of confidence. So basically, you need to be able to accelerate the climbs up. You need to be able to do things that manage and maintain that the climb is continuing. And of course, you need to be able to catch and stop the drops down. It's just as effective to, instead of climbing 7 steps, to climb 9 steps, right? You've increased your climb by 2 steps. It's just as effective to do that as it is to, after you climb the 7 steps, only fall back 3 instead of falling back 5. Because both have raised your average by 2 steps. So we want to focus, most people automatically focus on accelerating your climb, having raised your confidence. It is just as essential to catch the drop, to catch it earlier, and to have it start the climb back up. Because if you can figure out how, and we're going to teach you, by the way, if you can figure out how to catch the drop, that safety net, the actions to take when you notice the drop and start climbing back up again, your overall confidence level will be that much higher. Okay, so first let's talk about how to accelerate and maintain climbs up. Well, some of this we've already talked about. So tracking your wins, a wins journal, and reminding yourself often. So the wins journal by now should be a daily procedure, something that you add to. You don't need to add to it daily, but at least occasionally, but you need to review it at least daily. And if you're not doing that, add that in right away. Put it in your schedule, make time for it, put it as part of your daily routine. You know, tape it to your bathroom wall or to the mirror as you brush your teeth, go over your wins journal. That one thing will have your confidence be higher. And then when you're celebrating your wins, you want to celebrate all of your wins. So when you get a big win, when you get the next big win, add it to that wins journal. Celebrate it with, yourself, but also celebrate it with others. The more people that are patting you on the back, that are celebrating your wins with you, it reinforces that win and raises your confidence even more. It also creates the expectation from the other people that you're going to keep winning, which drives you and motivates you as well. The next piece is internalize the source.